but my crew up and deserted me.
What'd they do that for?
Heard about the engines.
Didn't know there was any engine trouble around here.
Oh, take here, downriver somewhere. To the side of Shawneetown. Them red devils are attacking everything. Flatboats loaded with settlers, even armed keelboats. Got so bad, nobody'd sign on.
Don't seem to be scaring off Mike Fink none.
Greetings and salutations. It's time for some more military movie talk. Today, I was thinking about the Riverine units from the Vietnam War. They were pretty interesting, weren't they? I mean, it's kind of a unique way of fighting when compared to like traditional land or even naval warfare. When you're fighting in a river, you've really only got two options of how you go: forwards and backwards. So, what do you do if you have to hunt bad guys on the shoreline? Well, obviously, you get together some of the toughest dudes you can and you load your boats up with guns. Lots of guns. And I'm sure you've already figured out where I'm going with this seamless transition. Today, we're talking about Davy Crockett and the River Pirates.
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? Hey.
But is this really even a military movie? I mean, no one in it's actually in the military. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? It's my show and it's my rules. Besides, if you've watched any of my content at all so far, surely you've come to realize that I'm kind of making this up as I go. And really, we can learn tactical lessons from anywhere if we just look hard enough. Anywho, our analysis today shall be over the Battle of Cave in Rock at the end of this film. So, what happens when you take the challenges of river warfare and combine it with American mythology of our folk heroes? You get this 1956 prequel to King of the Wild Frontier, which we've already explored in a previous video. Shameless plug. Now, this movie really is a ton of fun, mostly throwing out the gritty realism that a lot of other movies try to go for and embracing the larger than life personas of early American legends. But if we look closely and maybe squint and cock our heads a little, we may just be able to glean some tactical lessons from it. So, get your boat crew together and let's get into it. Let's take this moment to meet the commanders. As the title suggests, our first commander is, of course, Davy Crockett.
Meet up with Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier.
And also another legend who will start off as an antagonist, Mike Fink.
Everybody knows who the captain of the Gully Wumper is. It's me, Mike Fink, King of the River. I am the original ringtail roarer from the Thunder and Lightning country. I'm a real snorter and a headbuster. I can outrun, outjump, outsing, outswim, outdance, outshoot, outeat, outbreak.
Out talk?
Yeah, outtalk, outcuss, and outfight anybody in a whole Mississippi and Ohio rivers put together.
At this time, we're going to save the enemy commanders for later. In the meantime, let's talk about the scenario. It's 1810. Davy Crockett and his friend Georgie Russell are attempting to find a way down to New Orleans to sell the furs they've collected over their hunting season. Through one unfortunate event leading to another, they end up getting into a keelboat race with Mike Fink and his crew, thanks to some persuading on Mike's part.
As we say down in New Orleans, bon voyage. Hey, down the hatch.
Well, I already had a little more than I'm used to.
Oh, come on now, square off. You're gonna be a riverman. You gotta learn how to drink like one.
Therein, you see, already we're given an important tactical lesson. That being, of course, that when you have to make those sound tactical decisions,
Don't mess with Mr. Booze. Don't mess with the OOZ.
I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote from Sun Tzu. Don't check me on that. Davy and Georgie are then forced to throw together a slapdash crew to race Mike Fink down to the Big Easy. But Mike isn't the only worry for Crockett and his crew. Rumor has it that further down the Ohio River, native warriors are attacking keelboats. This is confirmed after Mike Fink takes an early lead in the race, and as his boat rounds the bend near Cave in Rock, Illinois, canoes loaded with hostiles emerge from the shoreline.
Agents! Get braced for some fun, boys!
Mike's crew grab their muskets and attempt to defend themselves from the approaching enemy, but numerous canoes quickly start to surround the Gully Whomper. Luckily, though, just in time, we've got Deus Ex Davy Crockett as his boat comes up alongside the Gully Whomper's flank to lay down a little support by fire. The unexpected arrival of the second boat makes the enemy break contact and disappear into the dense southern Illinois woodline.
Anybody get hurt, Mike?
How could we? You chased them off before we got started!
Well, with the danger of the ambush past, we'll be skipping ahead a little bit in the movie. Davy engages his plot armor, and him and Georgie are able to beat Mike Fink down to New Orleans, and in the process win his respect and his friendship. From there, Davy and Georgie start to make their way back home until they encounter a group of Chickasaw warriors who inform them that multiple native tribes are preparing for war as they have been attacked by U.S. settlers. Davy then says, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Well, no wonder you guys are getting attacked. Your Kaskaskia buddies up the river keep raiding boats on the Ohio." But the Chickasaw chief is like, "Nah, bro, the Kaskaskia don't even live around there anymore, 'cause they've been driven away from there in the attacks they've been receiving." But if it wasn't the Kaskaskia that attacked us on the river, then who was it?
Bloody pirates!
It then clicks with Davy and Georgie that what's really been going on is that a bunch of white guys have been dressing up as Kaskaskia to blame them for the attacks while they made off with all the plunder from the keelboats.
Oh my.
Davy then strikes a bargain with the Chickasaw in order to prevent further violence.
Tell the chiefs to keep the peace.
Know this, Davy Crockett. We have always wanted peace with the white man, but he does not want peace with us. He makes treaties and calls us brother, but he believes any evil he hears of us.
That's right. But it works two ways. To strike back at a few no-good murdering whites, you'd turn the whole frontier into a needless war.
I will send runners, but we will wait only until the full of the moon.
Davy then recruits Mike and his crew to help him take down the criminal element that is disguising themselves as native warriors. Alrighty, now it's time to talk about the opposing forces, commanders. The river pirates are led by...
Well, that's Sam Mason and the Harvey brothers, the orneriest skunks on the river.
And while this story is fictional, these guys are actually based on real historical bandits and serial killers, so that's fun. So now that we're all up to speed on what's going on, that means it's time for... Met TC. The mission. Davy Crockett and Mike Fink must find a way to engage and destroy the river pirates on the Ohio River before their ruse leads to an all-out frontier war between American settlers and the U.S. military against the native tribes along the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. The enemy. Criminal cutthroats Sam Mason and Big and Little Harp have gathered several dozen scoundrels. That's a fun word. Scoundrels.
Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.
Stop that.
Sorry, you're right. I'm getting distracted, as I was. As such, most of these men have little to no formal military training, but they will be heavily armed, mostly with indigenous weapons, such as bows and tomahawks, in order to keep up their facade, but they will also be armed with a variety of muskets as well. They launch their canoe-borne attacks from their hideout at Cave in Rock, where they are well stocked with supplies and plenty of extra arms and powder. Seeing as how it's a cave, there's only one way in or out of the hideout. Okay, on to troops. Davy and Georgie are armed with American long rifles, or Kentucky or Pennsylvania long rifles, whatever you want to call them. A civilian hunting rifle, while not as quick to reload as a smoothbore musket, has the advantage in accuracy. Mike Fink and his 8 crewmen are armed with smoothbore muskets. Now, a little side tangent fun fact: the guns used in the movie are actually mocked up Springfield trapdoor rifles. The reason being that since it's a much more recent gun, there's more of them in good condition, and it's a lot easier to reliably use metal cartridge blanks in them. But they're supposed to represent smoothbore flintlocks, so for our analysis, that's what we'll consider them. And there you go, just a little extra knowledge for you.
Fascinating.
Davy and Mike's main asset in the fight will be Mike's keelboat, the Gullywomper, which has the ability to maneuver up and down the river and has a swivel gun cannon that greatly increases the team's firepower. Yeah, unfortunately, though, it's only 1810 and that's all the firepower they got. Though, a boy can always dream. Terrain. The Ohio River is obviously a large, wide open waterway that provides large fields of view on all sides to approaching enemy. The enemy is based on the southeastern Illinois shoreline, which, within feet, changes from an open beach to a densely wooded, hilly, and rocky terrain. Having a well thought out plan with your approach could prove to be essential to victory. Time. Due to the rising tensions between the settlers and the native tribes, Davy and Mike have less than a month to make their plan, move to target, and take out the river pirates, so the truth of the pirates' shenanigans, nay, aggravated shenanigans, can be revealed. Civilian considerations. Well, technically everyone involved is a civilian, but everyone involved is also a combatant, so no civilian considerations, which means it's time to see how things go down in the movie. Davy and Mike decide to launch a Trojan horse operation against the pirates. They disguise the Gullywomper and themselves as unassuming merchantmen and load the Gullywomper's cargo hold down with rocks with the intention of passing themselves off as loaded down with gold. Crockett and Fink stop at towns along their way back north to target, exalting their faux precious cargo to anyone who will hear.
McGillicuddy. J.J. McGillicuddy on my way up to Shawnee Town to open up a new bank.
Along the way, a banjo player calling himself Colonel Plug invites himself on the trip. Suspecting that this might be the chance for the enemy to take the bait they've been waiting for, they accept the Colonel's offer of company. As our heroes approach the spot of the previous ambush, Plug offers up a song to the crew that turns out to be encoded to the would-be waylayers on the shore, revealing the believed cargo.
And her hair's the color of yaller gold. The color of yaller gold.
Plug, then, while being completely unguarded, I might add, goes below into the cargo hold and sabotages the Gullywomper, causing it to begin sinking. Davy and Mike confirm that Colonel Plug is a mole and restrain him below deck, but not before discovering the damage done to the Gullywomper. From the shore, the pirates pull their canoes from concealment, and Mason initiates the ambush. All this just as Mike realizes the Gullywomper is no longer mobile, and they're gonna have to fight from a stationary position.
Mike, we're dragging bottom. Where's them confounded rocks you brought on board? Get them out of there! We're fishing! We're sinking, Mike! Sinking? We're sunk! Grab your weed pods, boys, and let them have it!
The battle begins, and as our heroes attempt to get the swivel gun into the fight, the pirates attempt to outflank the Gullywomper.
They're attacking us from the rear!
Since this is Mike's first time firing the swivel, he is generally unfamiliar with his weapon system and he is forced to adopt an unconventional shooting position in order to get hits. As the fighting moves into melee distance, the men are soon able to confirm that it is definitely white guys that they're fighting.
I scalped him!
The boys put up more of a resistance than the pirates are used to seeing, forcing Sam Mason to initiate his failsafe plan.
What's holding them up out there?
Them boatmen's putting up an awful good fight.
We'll fix that. Get the powder canoe in the water.
In the meantime, Mike resorts to just blind rage fist fighting, which ends up resulting in, I guess you'd call it a little friendly fire. As several enemy board the boat, Davy stands out in front of them unarmed to lure them in, while Georgie surprises them and takes them out in a textbook hunter-killer maneuver. After taking multiple casualties, the enemy then starts to fall back as Sam Mason sends the canoe filled with gunpowder towards our boys.
We got him on a run.
No wonder. Look what's coming.
Thanks to Davy's quick thinking, they've avoided disaster, but the fight's not over yet, as the enemy leadership is attempting to escape to plunder another day. Davy and Georgie pursue and soon figure out that they made the classic mistake of getting locked into your prey when the chase is on. Recognizing they forgot to bring their weapons with them, they arm themselves with some driftwood to use as improvised clubs. Mason and the Hart brothers get greedy, and they return to their cave to grab as much of their plunder as they can, instead of just heading straight for the woods and trying to escape and evade from Davy and Georgie.
Leave that big stuff. We can't carry that on horseback. That's enough for now.
We can't leave all this with somebody else.
Nobody's gonna find it till we can get back. That's what that keg of powder's for.
Sam Mason rigs the room with all their loot in it to blow with a time-delayed gunpowder fuse. He and the Hart brothers then hide themselves in the cave, just as our heroes find its entrance.
Cave-In Tavern ain't doing much business.
Don't think it ever was a tavern, Georgie.
You mean this is their hangout?
It's gotta be.
Davy, you ain't going in there.
Varmints went someplace.
As Davy and Georgie enter the cave and begin to clear it, they soon find the criminal's stash, and then soon afterwards, the criminals themselves, and they move in to engage. In the scuffle, Sam Mason picks up a torch to arm himself with, and subsequently learns what, I assume, every good combat engineer already knows, and that's that you don't use an open flame as a weapon when you've just gotten done rigging explosives. After Mason is taken care of, the two Hart brothers are then dealt with in due course. And so, the day has been saved by Mike Fink and Davy Crockett. A frontier war has been prevented, and the waterways of early America are once again free from pirate scum. Thanks so much for joining me for another movie discussion. If you'd been in command of the Gullywomper, what tactics would you have used? Would you have maybe approached the enemy from a different way? Would you have tried to recruit some more troops for the fight? Grab yourselves a couple of Mike Fink specials and let me know down below how you would have done it. Until next time, armchair commanders, keep your powder dry.